and get that going. All of our phones are going to
Throw
go
links
wicked
out.
off.
I'm recording.
Good.
I am also recording.
Hey, you know you can watch Sketching Comedy live right now on YouTube?
No way.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You don't say.
I do and I don't. All right. That goes there. Cool. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. Why is it always something?
P?
No, I don't even care. I just wet my pants right here. I don't even.
Just,
I don't
just
even
empty that margarita glass. Should
Yeah.
be fine.
She's like, I got a Snapple bottle. I'll be fine.
yeah, it's fine. Everybody needs a
Snapple?
Snapple bottle close. It's all good. Let's see here. No, I just forgot to pop the chat out. There it is. And then pop out chat. And I believe I can close this window now. I believe I can close this chat. I believe I can fly. Okay, let's see. I am coming off being a little angry today. So let's see if we can get through this. I'm not going to do
coming
it.
into being a little drunk, I think.
No, not yet. That was literally my first sip. This is just me calming down. So you hear sip two.
Use it. Use it in the show. That's all I can say.
Boy, that's salty, man.
Yeah, I've pent up all my DMV energy all
There you
day,
go.
so
Oh my god, no, I just I don't usually get like irked about stuff. Like I'm pretty passive when it comes to stuff, but I've always said like don't piss me off because when you do, you really piss me off and my brain just won't let it go. It starts spinning like 500 different scenarios and I just get really angry. So I'm going to try to breathe through that one and just talk about Seinfeld. This is a PG podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try to get through it that way. So why not use Seinfeld? Okay. All right, you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay, go
Sure.
ahead and mute your side, and here we go. On today's show, we discuss Jerry Seinfeld. You may recognize him as an American comedian, actor, writer, producer, and director. He is best known for his best playing a seminal... Nope, starting it over. Seminal. What's a seminal? Let me read this again. He is known
Seminal. It's pronounced seminal.
I was trying to say semi-fictional. Couldn't even get it out.
Seminal seemed like the right word, honestly.
Yeah, he is known for... I don't like how I wrote this. He is known... Oh, that's why. All right, changing it.
he is best known.
Yes. Yes, I know.
For seasonal comedy. No, that's not the right word.
For seminal.
Seminal.
This is my problem. I know I read it wrong. I heard it wrong in my head. This is like, it's always nice when Phil kind of looks shit over. He's like, that's not how you want to say it. I'm like, you're right. That's not how I want to say it. All right. Starting again in 3, 2. On today's show, we discuss Jerry Seinfeld. You may recognize him as an American comedian, actor, writer, producer, and director. He is best known as playing a semi-fictional version of himself in the sitcom Seinfeld. But did you know his first appearance was a reoccurring role on the TV show Benson? Our own sketch comedians Imran and Phil are back live on the drawing board, so stick around because the show starts now. Welcome back to Sketching Comedy, the show that teaches, laughs, and draws comedy and comics while you listen and watch from the comfort of your home. I'm your host, Carrie Sims, along with two of the funniest guys I know, Phil and Imran. So, guys, I don't know, how was your weekend? How did everything go over the weekend, Imran?
Listen, first of all, thanks for, I may be funny, but looks aren't everything. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there right now. But the weekend was great. It was hot as crap, and I just stayed inside because I love pre-air conditioned air. I don't care. It's fake, and it's artificial, and it's lovely.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. How about you, Phil? What'd you do this weekend?
What's the deal with mowing the lawn? Why do I have to spend my whole weekend out on the lawn? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get set for our topic tonight.
Yeah, channel the Seinfeld.
Channeling.
I was in Branson over the weekend.
Oh, Branson, Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, does Greg Brady still have a show there? Good old Barry Williams?
Does. I can't believe you said that, but yes, he does. Branson
I met him once.
The home of the weirdest attractions ever. And so many billboards. We passed this one along the way that said, buy fudge here, best fudge is in Uranus.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, where are we? You know, it was kind of crazy, but they had some
has
crazy
a sense of humor. That's good to know.
Well, we stopped by a winery, and the funny difference is, like, most of the wineries that are up here are like a little bit north or whatever. You know, usually it's either like $5 for a tasting, or you get a free tasting. They give you maybe like 5 sips of wine or whatever. 19 free sips.
What? For $5?
For $0. It was a free tour, and they took you on this tour. It was I was obliterated. I was like, I can't even get out of this winery. And I'm like, I'll buy you a bottle of wine. I'll buy you a bottle of wine. I'm like, this is the best free day ever. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I will have to say that. So,
I'm more blown away by the fact that somebody sits there and counts your sips. That's a little weird.
It was on a sheet, so I knew, like, when we were done, I'm like, okay, so we get like a choice of like 5 of these. That's what they usually do. They'll give you like all these different wines. You're like, choose your favorite 5 or whatever. Like, nah, here, we're gonna get you just trash. And here's 20 of them. We're like, oh my god.
And then you're gonna buy it all. Yeah.
Right. Well, and
that's how they get you.
Yeah, well, I'm not even counting the grape juice that they gave you. So I was like, oh, this is good stuff, too. And
was there a sip Nazi? No sips for you.
No sip for you.
Oh, Branson, give it a try. Go ahead. It's a lot of fun down there. So we had another entry this week on Twitter. We had asked the listeners to draw a cat. And Phil, I saw you draw a cat, which was really great. As usual, I always love your cats. But we also had a great submission from Phil and Nick from at Thing Beats Thing podcast.
It's amazing.
They did a little kitty cat right here.
Samurai cat is awesome.
Yes, is.
I want a whole comic strip about this cat.
I look at the eyes. It kind of reminds me of Puss in Boots a little bit with the big sad eyes. It's really cute. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate that.
Well done. Yes.
Very,
I
very
love this
good.
promotion. This is a great idea. Like,
I do too.
Thank you.
I'm seeing awesome art every week from people who are following us on Twitter and following us here.
Yeah.
And it's really cool just to see it pop up with our hashtag and sort of people tweeting us this really cool art.
Yeah, it's really fun. And obviously, if you want to tweet something to us, I mean, even if it's horrible, I might even get on this bandwagon once in a while. You might see one of my drawings just kind of thrown in there.
Do it.
But check us out on Twitter. You can catch these usually on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and just sketch us your new ideas. And feel free to do them any day. So if you feel
what's our Twitter?
Our Twitter is at Sketching Comedy.
I want to see more art there, listener. Yes. And I want to see some Carrie. I've yet to see a Carrie drawing. I don't think I've seen one yet.
No, you haven't? I'll give you some. I'll give you some drawings. Okay. Yeah, I'll start doing them on Twitter. I have no problem doing it. I will not do it live. That is just not me. But if you're curious,
Carrie drew for me one time, and it was a picture of me naked wearing a diamond around my neck, just like the lady in Titanic.
Top of the world.
God bless it, Phil.
That bitch left him to die, by the way. I'm still upset at the end of that movie. There was plenty of room on that door.
Plenty of room on the door.
Jesus.
Sidetracked. Well, guys, if you're curious and prefer watching the live show and seeing the art created right before your eyes, be sure to tune into Blazing Caribou on YouTube every Wednesday at 8, 7 Central. So, at the top of the hour, we heard a little bit of... We mentioned Jerry Seinfeld, and Jerome Allen Jerry Seinfeld was born on April 29th, 1954 in Brooklyn, New York. His father, Kalman Seinfeld, collected jokes he heard while serving in World War II. That's where he gets his little funny bone from. His mother, Betty, is of Syrian Jewish descent. Seinfeld grew up in Massapequa, New York, and attended Massapequa High School on Long Island. You cannot say that word without having a little fun.
Long Island.
Do you know what that word means?
Massapequa? No, Phil, please school me.
According to Jerry, it means by the mall.
By the mall.
Everything is by the mall.
By the mall. Everything's by the mall in Massapequa. So that's one of his jokes. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, he later attended State University of New York at Oswego, transferring after his second year to Queens College City, University of New York, graduating with a degree in communications and theater. So let's just take a few minutes. It's about a 4-minute gig here to listen to Jerry back on the Merv Griffin Show in 1981.
I am.
Pretty awesome him being back. God, that's 1981.
It's crazy. That is some early stand-up. And then the irony of like he got the Merv Griffin set on the show.
Yes.
Did he get the couch after that? I gotta know. Did he get the couch?
Yeah, he did. Actually, I think he did.
I remember watching old, like I had my TV on to like MeTV, and they were playing old Johnny Carson's, and there goes Jerry in like in the mid '80s, and I think he got the couch all the time when he was on Carson. It seemed like Carson really liked him.
Well, he was definitely one of like those comedians that came on the scene and just kind of took it by storm, and definitely a force to be reckoned with. But what I always liked about him, and we'll talk about this with other comedians, this is such a contrast to the first one that we did, was Bill Burr. Bill Burr is very loud and obnoxious and such a strong presence on stage where you're almost kind of, you know that you're probably going to be sweating with him through most of his stand-up. But with Jerry, what's really neat is this was 1981. I mean, that's how many years ago is that? That's like 30 some odd years ago, right? 30.
I was told there would be no math on this show.
I know, there isn't. It's fine. I said 30 some odd, so we're good. But that's like 30 some odd years ago, and his stuff still kind of holds up because it's clean, it's
general, observational,
and like it's universal.
It's universal, and he's still clean, which is amazing. Like to be clean and be so funny. Yeah, that takes a lot of talent.
Yeah, it definitely does. Well, let's get on to the news, and then we'll get a little bit into who Jerry Seinfeld really is. Hey, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but did you hear about this thing where Jerry Seinfeld doesn't hug Keisha or Kesha? I guess that's
dollar sign.
Yeah, Kesha. Yeah. Did you hear about this?
Either. Who knows where she's been? Have you seen her? Jeez.
So last week, Jerry and Kesha made headlines together when a video of the hug that never was began spreading all over the internet. At the time, it seemed pretty clear why the comedian declined to embrace the warrior singer. He didn't appear to know who she was. He was kind of clueless himself. Although Kesha's request was harmless enough, his response still seemed perfectly fit in line with being asked for a hug mid-interview by a stranger. But Seinfeld's recently clarified his no-hugging position. I love how he has, like, it kind of reminds me of the show. It's just like he has to have a no-hugging position. Like,
I could see that if you think about like Howie Mandel being a germaphobe. He's like, I ain't hugging.
He was explaining that he's 63 years old and he doesn't know every pop star, and I don't know everyone, he said. So the comedian wasn't about to hug a total stranger while he was right in the middle of an interview. A request he found a little off. He continued, like, why was she doing that in the middle of this interview? You know, she could have kind of waited. He continued, when you get to be my age, you've done a couple of things and you have your own reality. In my reality, I don't hug a total stranger. I have to meet someone. I have to say hello. I got to start somewhere.
He's old school.
Yeah, hug isn't the first moment of a human.
That. I get that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Why is this a big thing? This is
right. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But hugging isn't the first moment of a human, two humans coming together. I never did that. So Seinfeld says he and Kesha ended up laughing off the whole thing off camera.
I'm glad they made up.
Yeah, they made up and everything's fine. Though he felt he needed to note that he still refused to hug the singer. He wanted to make sure that people understand that he refused. So maybe next time
I'm not driving her to the airport either.
You know, if you ever run into Jerry, don't go for the hug right away.
I know it might be a thing. Like, you don't, like, now that it's a thing, it could be a thing, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, it could be like people just start hugging them. Kind of like they bring, what is it, for Gaffigan? Is it donuts? Or cake?
It's Hot Pockets. Hot Pockets.
Well, it's Hot Pockets, but they bring cake too. I think it's like one of his shows, he said he liked cake, and like they bring cakes like all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, Jerry, you might be getting some hugs just because of it. So, hey, what are you going to do? So let's talk a little bit about what's the deal with Seinfeld. I did it.
Good job. Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I got. That and that's Kramer. So, but we're not doing Kramer right now because I don't want to get in trouble on this podcast. Okay, so Seinfeld developed an interest in stand-up comedy after brief stints in college productions. In 1976, after graduation from Queens College, he tried out an open mic night in New York City's Catch a Rising Star, which led to an appearance in a Rodney Dangerfield HBO special. Rodney, where is he these days? Did he die? He didn't die, did he?
He's dead. Yes.
Is he?
I think he is dead. Yes.
He is dead. Yeah.
Well, that's why he hasn't done any shows lately.
That explains his absence from the spotlight lately.
It does. So Jerry appeared on open mic nights at Bud Freeman's Improv Club while attending Queens College. And in 1980, he had a small reoccurring role on the sitcom Benson, playing Frankie, a mail delivery boy who had comedy routines that no one wanted to hear. Which I love.
I used to watch Benson. I love Benson, and much like
I watched Benson a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it
me
was on WGN all the time.
I don't remember this.
People got their start on Soap, and then Benson was a spin-off of Soap.
Soap too.
Billy Crystal was on there. All you watch it, you're like, holy crap! There's that guy. There's that guy. All young.
That's definitely a show I'd love to go back and revisit and check out. But I was kind of surprised that he was on this, but I don't remember it. Well, however, Seinfeld was abruptly fired from the show due to creative differences. Seinfeld has said that he was not actually told he had been fired until he turned up for the read-through session for an episode and found out there's just no script for him.
Awkward.
And I'm like, well, that's pretty much a way to go. There's your pink slip. In May of 1981, Seinfeld made a successful appearance on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, impressing Carson, which is like the best thing to do, and the audience, and leading to frequent appearances on that show and others, including Late Night with David Letterman. So then he gets into a little bit of Seinfeld, and we got some cool stuff around here. Seinfeld created the Seinfeld Chronicles. Now, did you guys know it was the Seinfeld Chronicles, Phil? You probably did.
That was like the original name of the show,
right?
And like the first the pilot episode and first couple episodes. Yeah.
Well, he created that in 1988 with Larry David, and the show was later renamed Seinfeld only to avoid confusion with the short-lived teen sitcom called The Marshall Chronicles, which obviously did so well.
Which was also hilarious. I remember that show really well because it made me laugh my ass off. That was a really funny show.
Really?
Yeah,
I've never heard of that or seen that.
It was not on very long, but I remember watching it, and I thought it was the funniest thing. It was about a nerdy kid in high school.
Really?
Who liked the hot girl in school. And I can't imagine why I latched onto it so much. But
was there a name in that one? Who was that? Who was the guy?
I could not tell you anybody who was in it, but I do remember seeing it because it was right about the time that I don't know if you guys remember Parker Lewis.
Yes. Parker Lewis Can't
and all
Lose.
These teen sitcom kind of shows were coming around. So
Ferris Bueller had a TV show.
Ferris Bueller did have a TV show.
Yeah, you guys are right. Huh. Interesting. Well, by its fourth season, it had become the most popular and successful sitcom on American television. The final episode aired on 1988, and the show had been a popular syndicated rerun. So the first time he saw Larry David, he didn't approach him, and he's like, that's a long story. I'm going to try to do the voice. He told a fan who wanted to know how he met Seinfeld's co-creator. Well, I was actually, okay, I can't do the voice, but I was actually eavesdropping on him, talking to another comedian, and I wasn't even in comedy yet, but he was leaning on my car in front of the Improv on 9th Avenue and 44th Street in New York, and this would probably be maybe 1975, and that was the first time I ever saw him, but we didn't talk. But him and this other comedian were leaning on the fender of my car, and I knew that they were real comedians, and I was just flirting with it. He said that he finally did speak at a bar called Catch a Rising Star 2 or 3 years later with him, and we couldn't stop talking, Seinfeld said. We were both obsessed with the smallest possible issue, which that is the show. They just become obsessed with, these small issues. And I mean, really, Larry David and Seinfeld kind of changed the scope of how you watch a sitcom. I think that, you can really do a show about the dumbest things, and it's just so funny because life is about the dumbest things, and that's what they really made this show on, and they did awesome at it. So Seinfeld was not ever pitched originally as a show about nothing. The real pitch, when Larry and I went to NBC in 1988, was we want to show how a comedian gets his material. He said the show was the show About Nothing was just a joke in an episodes many years later. And Larry and I, to this day, are surprised that it caught on as a way that people describe the show, because to us, it's the opposite of that, which is really funny. So the show was about something, but it really is about nothing, I guess. And I guess that's why they had the opening credits with Seinfeld always kind of talking about a little bit of his material and stuff, which I never thought, we actually needed, but I thought it was cute that they did that, and they always, brought it back. So he's got 2 favorite episodes. And first of all, Phil, what's your favorite Seinfeld episode?
Oh, man.
I know that's hard. And Imran,
That's really hard, man.
I know.
It really is. I think probably my favorite one is the one where Kramer gets a job. Mm-hmm. He just starts going to an office. He doesn't really work there, but he just starts going there.
Right.
And I think it's the same one where Jerry dates Manhands. Uh-huh. And George the
Penske file.
The dead fiance story to meet women, and I think Elaine meets Bizarro Jerry. It's one of those where they each have
all that stuff.
They each have like one of the best storylines ever, and it just makes one of the greatest episodes of all time.
Yeah,
that's a good one where the guy goes, Kramer, we're gonna have to let you go, and he's like, well, I don't even work here.
It's so funny. Yeah,
it's hard for me to pick an episode because this show was groundbreaking for a few reasons. The writing in the individual storylines was so tight, and how it all came together at the end of every show was just so phenomenal. You never saw that before. And then he also took like the 4 friends, like what Friends was popular, and then just turned them into like assholes. These were really like 4 of the worst people.
Yeah.
We never rooted for more worse people on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, constantly he's saying like, I hate everybody. Why would I like this guy? Yeah. Like you never saw stuff like that. So groundbreaking. It's so brilliant.
Yeah, it was done really
I think that's how we got It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because they're the Seinfeld crew just turned up.
Also, Workaholics reminded me of that. Yeah.
Workaholics as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Because these guys are now complete assholes, unapologetic. Like, we got a whole spit. One of my favorite memories is I was a freshman in college. I think it was 93 in our dorm. And this is like before we didn't have TVs in the dorm. There was a common area with one TV. Mm-hmm. This was the last of like the network appointment TV. We would all congregate every week to watch the new Seinfeld run first air, and it was like a great shared experience, and it was always so good.
Oh God, yeah. One of my favorite episodes is Elaine always got me. Like, she always made me laugh, and
she is hilarious.
The episode, and she went on to Veep and all this stuff, and I'm glad, because she's so
amazing.
She could just take that, and use this as a springboard to get to Veep, because she's turned up in that show. But my favorite one is the breathtaking episode where the baby is breathtaking and the baby really isn't. And she's looking at this baby like, oh, that's breathtaking. And then the doctor turns to her and tells her how breathtaking she is. And she's looking at this ugly baby, and she's like, wait a minute.
Ugly baby.
At the same time, that's when Kramer steals the lobsters. And also, I think that's the time where George was in the pool. He was in the pool, and she's like, "Oh, it shrinks." One of my favorite episodes. There's just so much going on, and also I think Kramer sees Elaine naked, topless, like off on the beach or something. Or Jerry's girlfriend naked or something. He's just like, and he's stealing lobsters. So
I got a favorite episode now that I kept coming back to, and it was the one where George is kind of scamming the employment department. And there's he works for Vanderlei Industries, and he gives him Jerry's phone number, and he's trying to get Keith Hernandez's ball to get to the lady, and then the phone rings, and he's in the bathroom, and he's screaming, "Say Vanderlei Industries!" And
and he's got his pants down,
and he collapses, and then Jerry, with the perfect punchline, walks in, and he's like, "And you want to be my latex salesman?" It's so good.
It is. It's great comedy. Well, Jerry's favorite.
Master My Domain, the Keith Hernandez, JFK, Zapruder film.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know you could go.
It's also classic and just burned into my brain. I'll watch any.
It's timeless. You could
Oh,
still
it's
watch
great.
it. Like I've always said,
Totally.
everything in life relates to either a Seinfeld episode or a Simpsons episode. Like,
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
it relates to everything.
Well, his two favorite are The Rye and The Pothole. And he liked The Rye because he got to shoot that at Paramount Studios in LA, which was the first time that he thought, wow, this is almost like a real TV show. We hadn't felt like a real TV show in the early years of TV were not successful. And we had this idea of a marble rye. We had to shoot it in an outdoor set. And this was very, very expensive thing to do. It's like a movie place there at Paramount in LA. Their standing set for New York looks exactly like it. And we thought, this is where the adult shows are. The real shows like Murphy Brown. We felt like we were like a weird little orphan show, so that was a big deal for us. So those were his two favorite. And I do like the marble rye. That was
that rye where he snatches it from the old lady?
Yeah.
And he's like, here's a bread, you old bag.
Yeah.
He meets her later at her parents' the resort.
Yep. Yeah, there's like a
Yep.
whole thing. Oh god, and like my mind just keeps going through like a bunch of these, and they're great. So I mean,
And then all the supporting cast. I mean, Jerry Stiller, Wade Knight, like
Oh, yeah.
so many people again came
Yeah.
through the show, and it's just amazing comedians in there.
Absolutely. So after Seinfeld, now he ended the sitcom, and I will say this: he ended it after 9 seasons, I believe.
Yeah.
Which
9, yeah.
he has a big thing about showmanship, about making sure that you
He's
do things
absolutely right. That was
Yeah.
the best move, and probably
Yeah.
one of the best final episodes of any series
right.
you're ever gonna watch.
Well-
I love that last episode. I think it's great. I think it's great. They brought back all the memorable characters. They Soup Nazi and
I think they had to.
the girl with the big breasts, Terry
Terry
Hatcher,
Hatcher.
where he was
Yeah.
like everybody who had ever been on Seinfeld came back for that. It was a great showcase of the show.
Yeah.
And then it ends with the first conversation they had at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, from,
But
Yep.
it's so,
from monks.
it's so
Yeah.
appropriate. They should be in jail for the
Good Samaritan.
The Good
law.
Samaritan law. Yeah.
They're standing
With
there
John
watching a guy
Cena
get carjacked, videotaping it.
making fat jokes at him,
Yeah.
and yeah,
It's so fucking fitting that
Right.
they end up in jail. Like I
Yeah, it
couldn't have
is.
asked for. And you forget the first season of the show was not very good.
no,
Right.
it wasn't.
No, it was
the
kinda
gone,
plain.
and you couldn't do that these days. Gone are the days where you get a couple of years to earn your audience. Nowadays, if it's not good in like 5 episodes, they cancel it. They're like,
now
"Hell
you just
with
do a
this."
podcast. It's fine. Give it a few years.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It kind of,
Well, after his sitcom ended, Seinfeld returned to New York City to make a comeback with a stand-up comedy rather than stay in Los Angeles and continue his acting career. In 1998, he went on tour and recorded a comedy special entitled I'm Telling You for the Last Time. The process of developing and performing new material at clubs around the world was chronicled in a 2002 documentary, Comedian, which also featured fellow comic Ornery Adams and was directed by Christian Charles. Seinfeld has written several books, mostly archives of past routines. In the late 1990s, Apple Computer came up with an advertising slogan, Think Different, and produced a 60-second commercial to promote the slogan. This commercial showed up, and people who were able to think differently, such as Albert Einstein, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and many others. It was later cut short to 30 seconds and altered such that Seinfeld was included at the end, where he had not been in the original cut. This shorter version of the commercial aired only once during the series finale of Seinfeld.
Wow, that's
Right?
weird.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So on
that is weird, yeah.
Okay, guys, here's the big thing. On November 18th, 2004, Seinfeld appeared at the National Museum of American History to donate the puffy shirt he wore in the famous Seinfeld episode of the same name. He also gave a speech when presenting the puffy shirt, saying humorously that this is the most embarrassing moment of my life. So
She's a low talker.
yeah. Oh God, the low talker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait. What?
Yeah, could you please wear this puffy shirt and be totally embarrassed for the next
I
20
prefer,
years?
so good.
I prefer the close talkers over the low talkers.
Oh,
We had the
Judge
close
Reinhold.
talkers.
Judge Reinhold,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, the close talkers, the low talkers, and then you had the sidler. And I guarantee, I'm always talking to James about him being this. I'm like, stop sidling up to me. He's like, I know what you're talking about. Carry these Tic Tacs. I want you to carry these Tic Tacs. He kind of looks at me.
He's wearing wrestling shoes.
Right?
Is James sponge-worthy? Let me ask you this.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, he's sponge-worthy.
Can you
It's
spare a square?
It's all
There's
good.
so many lines. We could
Right?
do this all night.
You could do it all day.
All day. It's only a 45-minute show. In January 2017, it was announced that Seinfeld had signed. Check this out. This is really cool. I'm really happy for this, and I didn't know this, but Seinfeld had signed an exclusive comedy deal with Netflix. As part of the deal, all the episodes of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee are going to be streaming on Netflix.
When did that happen?
I don't know. In addition to a new 24-episode season. So we're not only getting the old ones, we're getting new ones on there. So furthermore,
I
the
love
deal.
that show.
I know, me too. The deal also included 2 new Seinfeld stand-up specials and the development of a scripted and non-scripted comedy programming for Netflix. So if you guys haven't seen this, it's a hilarious show. He's had Obama on there. He's had some like really crazy people just like come in. He's just like, yeah, we're just going to be in cars getting some coffee. And
I mean, that's
he gets people like Obama, like Lorne Michaels, but his best ones are like the club comics, the guys like Brian Regan and
Bill Burr's been on there.
Bill Burr's been on there. Todd Barry has a episode on there. It's just some really.
Sorry, the beauty of this show is that he has made his money. He is comfortable.
Right.
He's doing what he wants.
He's doing what he wants to do right now.
Yes, and he loves talking to comics. And the show is like, it varies in length. It's kind of like podcasts. He's like, it's as long as it needs to be. They're all different lengths, and like even it's so great to see him kind of just be himself in his element.
Right, and we'll get to.
He has not driven a Honda Element yet, though. But
he hasn't. I have a Honda Element. That's what I drive.
I used to have one. I love those cars.
I love my car. I don't want to get rid of it.
I'll bet you Jerry does not have a Honda Element.
Probably not.
No, probably not. He might have something a little bit more expensive. Anyway.
You don't have to worry about me. I won a contest.
I'm going to give you 5 fun facts, guys, about Jerry Seinfeld that I bet you didn't know. And I had to dig deep for a couple of these, so work with me. So he was the very first guest on the Jay Leno Show, the famous talk show, premiered on September 14th, 2009. Did you know that?
Whoa, no.
Well, he was. Fact number 2. This is kind of funny. So we were talking about showmanship and things like that. This will prove it. He thinks he did a Reddit AMA and he said The Hangover should have stopped with the first movie. Responding to the question about how Seinfeld would be today, he said everything would have had to change. The characters would have gotten married and started families, I suppose, but I still think everything has its life cycle, and if you respect it, people enjoy it longer. He then took a moment to call on a movie franchise he felt disrespected its life cycle. Look at The Hangover. If you made just one, the movie would be a comedy legend, but because they made 3, not so much. So it's
He's absolutely right on that one, dude.
Yeah.
Because it would, had there just been one, it would be an instant classic. And the other thing about watching Seinfeld now is like it's weirdly dated. There's no cell phones, there's no computers. They still are answering landlines, and it's just weird to watch that now, because the jokes would be different had there been cell phones in a lot of these situations.
Right.
Have you seen the Twitter account called Modern Seinfeld?
Yes, it's pretty good.
They haven't updated in a while, but it was the best thing on Twitter for a long time. It was plot synopsis if Seinfeld was happening now, and it's things like George is mad because their neighbors password protected their Wi-Fi and things like that.
It was pretty genius with that.
It was really good.
It is, and he was actually asked about that in the AMA about what he thinks about these Twitter accounts. And
stuff.
Really? And
cool.
He basically answered. He's like, it's hard to say. He's like, it's cool that people still have a love for the show, and that there's this influx of people that want to, still discuss like what it would be like. He's like, but he's like, in reality, he's like, we would come up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ideas, and because of that, we would come out with 3. That would work. And he's like, and after doing, the 3, that maybe 1 would work out of that. And, him and Larry David, funny as they are, they're also really professional. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
It's called editing. Good editing is important.
Saying that, fact number 3, he stopped filming an episode of Seinfeld because it just wasn't funny. There was one episode where Jerry bought a handgun, which just makes me laugh.
Oh yeah, this is the lost episode.
Yep.
Of
Yeah, it's a
Seinfeld.
lost episode, and it's actually it's still there. He said, and when we started making it, we stopped in the middle and said this doesn't work, and we read it through, and then we just said no, we canceled it. And a lot of other stuff happened, but trying to make that funny ended up being no fun. Guns aren't that funny, it turns out. Especially with a lot of things that he was saying. With a lot of the school shootings, and he's like, that show could come out at weird times and make our show seem like we're going one way or the other. So they just completely scrapped it from that. So yeah, so pivotal, right? Number 4, he wears white sneakers as a nod to Joe Namath and Bill Cosby. I don't know if he still does that, but responding to a question about his proclivity for wearing white sneakers, Seinfeld said, "It started with me wanting to be Joe Namath of the 1969 New York Jets, who at the time was one of the only football players to wear white shoes. And I wanted to be like him, so I always wore white sneakers. Also, Bill Cosby on I Spy wore white sneakers, and they were my fashion icons." So that's the reason behind it. I wonder if maybe he might change his sneakers now because maybe, I don't know.
Right,
one of those things
sneakers,
is not.
But
right.
yeah, I did see they did talk about Bill Cosby on a recent episode of Comedians in Cars with Norm Macdonald.
Really?
It was very much in passing, and I think it was cut from a bigger conversation, but they did squeeze a joke from Norm out of
The sad part about Bill Cosby, I feel, is like you can't deny his comedy. He did these things, but the comedy
but it's hard
was there.
to listen to now.
It really is.
And I grew up listening to Bill Cosby, and
Sure,
he
me
was the
too.
first comedian that I loved too.
Yeah. And it's hard. It really is hard.
Yeah.
It's
That
kinda
trial
like-
is going on like right now this week. It's pretty
Right.
crazy.
I can't really acknowledge it.
Yeah.
him and listen to his comedy anymore. So it's really tough
Once
for a
again,
lot of people, I
separating
think.
the art from the artist can it be done? Is it hard? It depends.
Right.
Like,
Something like this where there's a trail of victims still alive, and it's really tough to break that off for me. This is, I'm sure, a conversation for a heavier day, but
maybe for a Brokebot Mountain conversation or so. Who knows? You never know. But anyway, okay. So saying that, do either of you have any idea how much Jerry Seinfeld is worth? Net worth?
$17 bajillion. All I know
a hell of a
is
lot more than I'll ever be.
yeah, more money than I can even ever imagine. I know he got paid a lot of money when he sold Seinfeld to Hulu? I remember
Hulu,
it was like $1 billion an episode or something ridiculous.
Right.
I can't imagine how much money this guy's worth.
Well, for a comedian, a $600 million net worth right now, standing in 2016 when it was last reported, is pretty darn good. So not too shabby for having to schlub it in clubs and things like that. Yeah. So we'll be right back.
Take that, Benson.
Yeah. We'll be right back after a quick ad from the Film Roast Girls. Actually going to be on that show soon, so stick around and listen for those girls. That's
really cool.
Show.
That's a cool show.
It is a really cool show. So hey, it's time to show off, and it looks like the Varmints podcast just showed up in our chat room, so we'll just do a quick wave to Paul. Hey Paul, how you doing?
Hey, Paul.
Varmints! That's how you have to say it, apparently.
But that's how you say sketching comedy. Is that how you say every show?
That's how I say everything.
Chicken nerd.
Listen, if you haven't noticed, I get excited really easily. Oh, that dog has a fluffy tail. Sorry, what was I doing? Okay.
That's fine. Well, if you guys haven't noticed or haven't been paying attention or you can't see because you're listening on the podcast, Phil and Imran have been doodling and drawing some really fun sketches throughout the whole show. And you guys have a chance to win these drawings at the end of each month at our Patreon. Or if you've been following along on YouTube, you can see them right now. So, hey, Imran, why don't you explain to everybody what you've been drawing for the last half hour, 45 minutes or so?
So I completely pulled this out of my ass, and this is literally, I drew this while we were recording, but my concept was I got a cartoon here of Jerry Seinfeld wearing the puffy shirt, dressed as Jack Sparrow. So it's a Seinfeld pirate that says, I don't want to be a pirate. Pirate! It's a little mashup. It's my little mashup.
I freaking love it.
Oh, that's great. Oh, it's cute. It looks just like him, too. Not bad.
You're going to be the first pirate.
But I don't want to be a pirate. I don't want to be a cowboy. All right,
great.
Phil, can you top that? What did you draw for us tonight?
I just got Kramer. He's a human cartoon already, and so I just made an actual cartoon out of him. Michael Richards' controversy aside, he created a fantastic character in Kramer, and I always thought he was hilarious. I love the way he bursts into the apartment. I love all the little quirks and on that same topic, it's not quite as horrible, but I was really crushed when Michael Richards had his meltdown because I was such a fan.
Mind.
I know,
I was such a fan of him on Fridays and on Seinfeld. Some of the other, smaller cameos he'd do. I thought he was always funny whenever he showed up.
Yeah,
that was shocking. And I think it's because he's not really a stand-up comic. He's a comedian.
No, he's not. He's an actor. He's not a comedian.
He put himself in a situation where he did not have any training or experience with hecklers and just lost his goddamn mind.
Yeah, he just really flew off the handle. But all that aside, I cannot deny how great Kramer was on that show and what he brought to that character. And you watch it, like we talked, like the first season not being that good. Like Elaine wasn't on most of that season.
He was different too, right?
Kramer was very different. Yeah. He was just a weird guy. And I think Michael Richards honestly grew that character into something much bigger than that.
Cosmo! Hello, Cosmo!
When you finally found out his first name was great. But I mean, iconic character up there with like your iconic all-time TV sitcom characters.
You know what he reminds me of, and I've always thought this when I was watching this show, is Norton from The Honeymooners.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Art Carney in him.
Yeah, very stand-up pratfall kind of a guy. His jokes
reminded me of Reverend Jim from Taxi.
Right?
That's a good one too.
Christopher Lloyd character.
Yeah.
Like
he had kind
hippie.
of all of that a little bit, where he just, his sound effects were him, and it's really funny because I grew up with this, so it kind of got into my vernacular a lot where I started talking and I'd be like, just do it like that, or yada yada yada, or like burst your bubble, whatever it was. I had sound effects all over the place, and my friends still to this day.
And one of the greatest lines is when he realizes that not wearing underwear is amazing. And
oh my God!
Right?
He's like, I'm out there, Jerry. I'm floating the wind. I love it every minute of it. And then Jerry's like, there's nothing but a thin layer of gabardine between.
Jerry's just like, well, I've got to move now. Yeah, he's just like, I can't live here anymore.
How about when they switched apartments and
that was
amazing
like Kenny Rogers Roasters?
Oh yes,
and they both did each other so well.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know. Paul is saying Michael Richards was the only physical comic in the ensemble to which made him stand out, which is true. Yeah. I mean, he was the only one.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
But you needed somebody to be the fall guy, really, in that show. You had Elaine, who was pretty serious, and George, who was just dumb.
Neurotic.
And dumb. Yeah.
George
he also
was like Larry David.
Yeah, very much so. And then Seinfeld was just trying to make it through and just living with these quirky kind of friends in his life, and just observing them all and kind of standing back and laughing. So
he reminds me also of like John Ritter's physical comedy on Three's Company.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I will say this: there was an article that I read about Seinfeld and Larry David, and Seinfeld was deeply influenced by Abbott and Costello. So so there's a lot of that in there, and you can see the pratfalls and the straight man kind of a thing. You need that in comedy, and I think that's why it works, because it's classic, but it was brought to a modern time during that time. And are we seeing it today? Do we have shows like that today? Like you were saying, like, Always Sunny, really. But I mean, we've got a couple, but we'll see what's.
I don't watch sitcoms anymore. I don't know. I know.
I mean, I think The Office ruined the sitcom. If you think about it, everything becomes that camera confessional, no soundtrack.
Very subtle, and there's not a lot of physicality to it.
That fourth wall was broken. And once fourth wall was broken.
When I discovered the IT Crowd, which is like this British show on
Netflix, I love the IT
Crowd
so much. Yeah.
I love that specifically because there was a live audience, and you forgot how amazing it is to do stand-up comedy sitcoms in front of an active live audience.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, this is like new again, and I love this. But it's great to hear that he's still producing and he's still working and he's still making what he loves. Like, I'm excited for the specials now.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's it for our show. So. Let's take it out, shall we? Thank you for listening and watching Sketching Comedy. You can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel at Blazing Caribou and listen to us every Wednesday at 8, 7 Central. Thanks to our producer, I can't even say it. Thanks to our producer, Ish Balderas Wong. Isn't he lovely? Isn't he wonderful? Every week, I don't get tired of his name. Thanks, Ish. I really appreciate you being a part of this. And thanks to you, the listener, because without you, none of this could be possible. So thank you. You're our comic heroes. We look forward to tuning in next week for more animations, illustrators, and stories about the animators you love. And with that, our show comes to a draw. I've been your host, Gary Sims, along with Imran Javed and Phil Rude. We'll sketch you next, guys. We'll sketch you next week.
Later.
Oh, my God. I can't even.
How's that margarita coming, Carrie?
It's pretty good. It's all good.
The salt is dehydrated her.
I know. I can't even anymore.
Making
Whatever.
her thirsty.
What's the deal with that? I can't even get through the show. I can't even do it. Oh, it's all good. Phil or Paul and I were talking about how we stumble, and when you do a live show, it doesn't matter.
You jinxed yourself for tonight.
Yeah, we jinxed it. It's all good.
You are no longer the master of your domain.
I am not the master of my domain. No. No, I'm not.
Newman.
And we're out. All right, let me close this down. I guess Ish can fix that wherever he wants to.
Yeah, what's the fix? It's all fine.
I don't know. It's all
I didn't
fun.
hear anything wrong.
Oh, it's all good. All right. We lived. We survived. We made another day. Sweet.
Woohoo! That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I could talk about Seinfeld for hours. I know Phil could.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh, Pizos.
That's easy.
All right, let me stop the stream. Thanks for watching, Paul. Appreciate it for coming in at the last minute. It was funny because we were talking earlier about like how you screw up, and then Paul comes on, and now all of a sudden that goes right to my brain, and I'm like, all I'm gonna do is screw up from this. Yeah, I'm like, from this point on, I can't say. It's hard to say Ish Balderas Wong. Seriously.
I think he should change his name.
Yeah, I think
I'm not. I don't. That's not. You're gonna give your tongue a hernia.
I know, but it's fun, like playing with his name. I'm like trying to do something different every week. I mean, I don't know how many shows I can do with different names.
You call him Fish. You call him Ishmael. Don't call him Ishmael.
Yeah.
Call me Ishmael.
Don't call me Ish. Balderas Wong. Yeah, I can do a lot of those. So it'd be a lot of fun to just kind of play with that a little bit. It's got
But dude,
ish.
that's the art of doing a live show. You got people commenting and watching. You got to
Yeah.
work it in. You got to keep an eye on that. You got to make sure you're pressing buttons. You got to make sure the thing is all it's